Hi, Scott and Michael. Thank you so much for joining me today. The last 6 months have been a critical time for growth and development in the Triangle. On the heels of several big announcements from Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies and Google, as well as Invitae, Apple announced a campus location at the Research Triangle Park, creating 3,000 jobs and a capital investment of $1 billion. This is great news for the region. Apple joins a robust tech ecosystem and a well-rounded region when it comes to talent, higher education, business climate, and quality of life. Let's start with our first question going to Scott. Scott, please share with us the history of the Research Triangle Park and what the future holds for RTP.
Well, hello, Adrienne, and thank you for having me. We've been around 61 years, and we have sort of been an experiment for that entire time. We were the second research park. The first was actually created at Stanford, and the business leaders of our state went out there and looked at it, and the business center of the state was the triad. The concept of the triangle didn't even exist. And they had the foresight to say, hey, look, if we're based on translational research, let's think about where that would best happen in North Carolina. And they invented this concept of the triangle between the three Tier 1 universities, UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, and NC State. So that was very prescient. We've tried all sorts of different things over the time. We're not a government entity. The funds to buy the 7,000 acres were actually raised by subscription. Folks went around the state, and actually on my desk, I have the ledger of all the loans that we took out and everybody we paid back. And the state lent $2 million also, and that was paid back to the state. So that's what's happened. We started out in Durham County, we expanded into Wake, and now we have 310 companies in RTP. About 110 of them are located in our Frontier campus, which is our entrepreneurial innovation campus, which has been around for about 4 or 5 years. And the other 200 are more traditional campuses in the park. We embarked on a pretty ambitious project called Hub, which is a new town center for RTP. If you drive by Davis Drive and I-40, you'll see that it's definitely underway. And we're really excited about the next phase of the park.
It's just fantastic. And RTP is such an incredible asset and part of what makes the Research Triangle special. So with Apple building a new campus location in the park, what impact will Apple have on the future of RTP?
It really is a new day. They are, we are blessed in the Triangle with a very diverse tech business environment. We have strong strength in ag tech, fintech, and Apple adds another, enhances sort of the IT kind of market that we have, which really creates Apple and Google, in fact, they reinforce the diversity of tech disciplines that we have in the Triangle region. And I think that's very important. It's a differentiating factor for us against other markets.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you for that, Scott. The future is certainly bright for the park and the Greater Triangle region. Michael, Wake County Economic Development, the Chamber, and many other local partners have been involved with Apple for several years now. Every economic development project has a different timeline, but our job as economic developers is to be persistent and maintain a relationship with the company. Take us through the process of winning Apple and how we market the region to attract global companies.
Well, sure, Adrienne, thanks. Really excited to join you and Scott to talk about this today. And I guess the short story of this is one of persistence pays off. And I think Scott would agree with that. I know you do. And that's part of what we do as economic developers. It's about persistence. It's about the persistence of making our community the best it can be. Supporting our existing companies that Scott has mentioned in his comments is absolutely critical to anything we want to do for the future. So that persistence really underlies all that we've done. We've worked with Apple for over 3 years through this process, ensuring that they were aware of what was going on in our community, all the both in terms of milestones that we were meeting as a community, exciting events that were occurring, keeping them informed of this throughout their decision-making process. And like you said, decision-making processes at companies are all different. Some are very, very fast and some take more time. This is an example of one that took time, but then accelerated towards the end. And that's what, for us, I think that's another way. You and I have talked about partnerships on this video series before, and partnerships here is what made this our ability to respond quickly. We were able to respond quickly because of those partnerships that we've had for such a long time. The company came to us and said, we're ready to make our move and join the amazing ecosystem that we have in the Triangle. And because of the partnerships we have with Scott and with the Wake County Commissioners, we're able to move very quickly to make that a reality. You know, when it comes to positioning the market really quickly, when we talk to Apple, and Scott knows as part of those conversations, when we're talking about the Triangle, we're really talking about four things primarily: talent, our diverse regional economy, as Scott said, built on our amazing array of existing companies and technology, but also life sciences and advanced manufacturing. Obviously, higher ed, Scott's already mentioned that, higher ed and our education ecosystem, including our amazing community college system and public school system, as well as quality of life. Those are really four key elements. The other piece I'd say is it's important for us to continue to talk about, and we can't oversell it here in our community, it's about partnership. And that's really important for companies of all shapes and sizes, knowing that they've got partners arrayed around them to help them be successful as they can.
Thanks, Michael. So let's talk about the groundwork it took to attract the interest of Apple and other companies recently. The Chamber and many other local partners have collaborated for years to ensure we are an attractive regional market. Things like advocating for the passage of Raleigh's affordable housing bond, introducing new transportation options, investments in building and diversifying our talent pipeline, emphasis on innovation, workforce development efforts, creating an inclusive community culture. All of these things are intentional. Michael, Apple aligns well with the priorities of our community when it comes to all of the things I mentioned. Can you share what you hope to see from Apple as they integrate into our community?
Well, sure. I guess first and foremost, what I'm most excited about is the jobs and the investment that the company's going to make in our community. I think we're all excited about that. I know Scott's very excited about it. I'm excited about, as Scott mentioned, the future of the park. Scott has done a tremendous job positioning the Research Triangle Park for such an amazing future, and this is just one more step in that future. The other thing I'm excited about is the commitment that Apple's already made to our community and to education in North Carolina with their announcement and commitment of $100 million. It's amazing to think about, and they join a long list of companies here in our community that take such pride in their corporate philanthropy, and they've just added to that. I think it's really important. It's an asset to our community. We have so many companies that care so deeply about who we are as a community and helping to shape our future. I think you're right, Adrienne. They align so well with so many things that we're focused on as a community and as a chamber: diversity, equity, inclusion, education. Those are the elements that I'm most excited about to see the future of Apple. And as they join our corporate community, knowing they're going to have an impact, just like so many of our other existing companies have had such a tremendous impact.
That's so true. Scott and Michael, thank you for your time today. It's a very exciting time to be part of the community. Despite many of the severe impacts that linger from the pandemic, our region is rebounding with confidence, and I'm looking forward to all that we have ahead of us. To learn more about our economic development efforts, you can visit raleigh-wake.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.